opposed to like back in Minnesota, it kind of feels like if I were to like talk about what I want, talk about my dreams, talk about whatever, it's like people would be like, oh, you're doing too much.
I think like maybe creative endeavors seem a little like far-fetched out there.
A little bit. It's like more people are a lot more realistic than like here or like California with the kind of more dream. You know, they can actually dream a little bit bigger. So it's like you talked a little bit about like your interest in it, like what got you started. How is that journey been?
It's been interesting. With all of this, like it's definitely been a ride. A lot of ups and downs, but I started off for like music videos and stuff like that, and then slowly it became like a narrative. Yeah, like that's kind of how everything starts for me. It's like I just start doing it, and then it becomes a thing. Like
that tends to be how it goes, yeah.
But yeah, so what was your question now?
Like what kind of got you inspired to dig into the whole, I mean, you were kind of explaining it where it's just kind of start something and then you just kind of fall into it. But is it like a specific, like route you think you'd like want to like more focus in on, like in terms of like acting, video creating and all that kind of stuff, or you just kind of like love being multifaceted?
I mean, I feel like no matter where I go, I pride myself in being multifaceted. Yeah, but same. Definitely what I feel like my biggest strength is directing. I feel like everyone wants to be a director, but not everyone has a heart for it. Like, there's going to be times where things don't work out for you and you got to adjust. There's going to be times where you got to take control of a room that's falling and morale is low. There's going to be times where, you know, like you can't get everything you want and you got to work with what you have. Right. And I feel like that's what I do. That's what, well, I don't even just say we, like everyone I work with, we do. Like we just, we make things happen with what we have. Right. No matter what we have. It could be a phone, it could be cameras. I like, see stuff like this, I like keeping it kind of minimal. Just because, well, first of all, it's simpler to set up. Right. But secondly, because it's like, I feel like it's more authentic. Like, it gives off a different vibe. Yeah. Like, you don't got the studio, we don't got the headphones on, and we're talking into the microphone. I feel like that's it's very not human.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. For me, it's like, I love being in those rooms because, like, you do kind of feel the energy. It's like, oh my gosh, we're doing something cool. But, like, also, like, this is definitely more personal. You know, it's less like, okay, now I got to put on a show, and more like, okay, let's just have a conversation. So
you said you want to be an actress. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it has something to do with like you wanting to kind of put like Christianity and like your faith like kind of on the forefront of your acting. Like what does that look like to you?
So basically, a little bit of my story here. So I was originally going for physician assistants. So I majored in psychology. Well, before biology, then I switched to psychology because it was easier, because you can go into med school with like basically any major. And then I was like doing acting in college, and I kind of fell in love with it. Started making a little bit of change for a college student, making a little bit of change. And I actually won a scholarship for the school that I'm going to now. And how I got it was by going to this talent conference that I didn't even know about the school. I didn't even know anyone there. Like, everybody there had been acting since they could walk, and I was just walking in there. It was like, oh, I'm just here for the experience. But it was really a God thing, because like even to get to the conference, it was like there was like money barriers and like how I was gonna get there, and God was just working in so many ways, like opening these doors so wide that it was like kind of, it would be stupid of me not to walk through them. And so I definitely felt a really big calling to kind of pursue acting in a more serious way. I didn't really necessarily understand it because I'm not stupid. Like I want to be like be stable financially and do all of that. But society tells us, you go to school, you get a good job, you pay off your debt, and that's kind of just the way like life is. But I want a lot more out of life than that. And I think God knew that, and so He definitely brought me to this place of not just, oh, you're just going to be an actor, but just like the reason behind it as a Christian, you kind of know like your life has purpose and it's ultimately to bring him glory. And so Christians are needed, like people who like disciples of Christ is also like what I call it, because sometimes people can tarnish the Christian name, just like, yeah, I'm a Christian, and then live however they want to live.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it was more of like I want you to be a light in the darkness. And what's more darker than the entertainment industry?
Yeah.
And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. There's a lot of temptations. There's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of imposter syndrome and things that you kind of have to battle, of not feeling good enough, of, you know, because the way I'm doing it is not how anybody else is, you know, going to do it, because my path has to be set apart. And knowing that, it can feel very alone and alienating, and people are going to tell you you're not going to be successful if you do it this way, and you kind of have to fight off all of that. So that's kind of just been my journey and like what I'm doing now, and it's definitely not easy, especially like trying to find a good association of people that kind of help you towards that purpose, and also just like to have as a connection source, and you know, those types of things. Yeah,
I get that. And like, I like that you mentioned that the industry, it's not nice. You know?
No, it's not nice at all.
It's not really set up for someone that has like high morals, faith, beliefs, like strong, basically integrity.
Yeah.
It's not really set up for those. Like, I'm not saying it can't work in your favor or anyone's favor.
And not to say that like any of the actors that like aren't Christians are like demons, like, or like, you know, or like not even that, but just like, you know, that are like evil people, you know. It's not that at all. There's just certain things that I feel I personally won't do. It's my own convictions and boundaries that I have to follow, which is a little bit harder, because something that someone else would be like, oh yeah, this is okay, I have to be like, no, or vice versa. So it's like kind of that understanding of like, oh, I'm gonna have to be different, and actors are already seen as weird. But yeah.
Especially in theater and drama classes, man.
Going.
I know enough of y'all theater drama students. Y'all do all those weird noises.
Oh no,
warming up.
I'm a film and TV. No,
oh,
I still do the weird noises. I'm not gonna lie. We have to do the weird noises.
Right, you gotta.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah. So did you just start acting out of directing, or were you an actor first?
Oh yeah, no, I just started acting out of directing. So like,
okay.
I like making stories, as most of us do.
Yeah.
I just kind of like, I figured like whenever because I write, when it's my stuff, I usually wrote it.
Okay.
So if I'm directing, I usually wrote it. I'm not opposed to directing someone that someone else wrote, but I just feel like it's easier when it's
your vision. You can know how to do it.
Yeah, the last film that I did, the last passion project that I worked on, that I can't talk too much about now, but I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But I played the lead role, and after doing that, it's kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool. But like, you know, that was fun. It's kind of like a side quest. Like, you know, it's like I do it more as this is fun. Like, it's a hobby rather than like, this is my job. I feel like when it comes to directing, when it comes to camera work, like truthfully, I fucking hate cameras. Like, I'll be real. I don't have any.
In the wrong industry then.
I hate cameras, but I hate not getting things done more. So I learned it out of necessity, not out of desire. But yeah, like I like acting. It's cool. It's fun. But like, kind of like it's just like me just exploring something else. I've done darker roles, like that's kind of usually my thing.
Okay.
But
interesting.
Yeah.
You don't give me dark energy, but
yeah. You know.
I guess that's why it's called acting. But no, I definitely I relate to that. My production team. So I actually have a production team here.
Okay.
Like we some of my friends from school, classmates, we created a little production team, and we actually made our first. It's our second short film, but our first one was kind of like trial run.
Yeah,
it wasn't the best, but you know, it was still something that we were able to post and be like, here's something we made. But this one was like, it really felt like we were a production team for the first time. And one of our co-founders wrote it and like starred in it, and like I wasn't in it, but it was like I was a big part of like the operation and like the scheduling and like getting everybody together and like set and hair and makeup, and like all this stuff.
So like
Yeah.
PA producing, like
yeah, I was like I was an integral part in it, so it is still a little bit of my baby. And we actually like we were able to have our school. It's called Bad Match. That's the name of the show.
Okay.
Or the short film. We're having a private screening for it on Monday.
Okay.
But I think I realized while I was doing it, it was like, I don't like being behind the camera. I do like being in front of the camera more, but I do love helping out behind the camera. Like, I like being a part of it, but also, like, it pains me when I'm not in front of it.
Right. You want to get it done, but
I exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of the same as, like, I need to be getting it done. So that's just kind of like, yeah, I kind of share that same mentality. Like, I hate not getting things done.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because like that's like kind of where I'm at too. The first film that I did was last year December. No, it was last year December. But we're approaching on a year now. That was like a trial run. It was like a rebrand of a film I did 4 years ago.
Okay.
With a new cast and slightly different script.
Yeah.
And then the recent one we just did, that's the second one. Like, I'm very hypercritical of everything, especially when it's myself. But
yeah, same.
It's definitely a step up. And like you said with like the production team, like I'm like, all right, now I have like a solid team, you know, and it feels good to have that.
Yeah.
You know, got to be grateful for it and just keep doing what you do. This whole don't overthink thing. What did
you just call me out on all this.
Yeah, don't overthink. You know, what's going on with that?
Ultimately, when I started it, of course, the whole aspect of like wanting to get things done. I was really gung-ho about it when I got this idea, and I was like, I'm gonna post every single week, and influencers and people that are on YouTube, y'all got it. Like, y'all having the time and taking the time, being intentional about your time to create things and post them consistently is something that I have not yet done. You know, I started Don't Overthink. I think it was my junior or senior year of college. Actually, I didn't even have a senior year of college because I graduated a year early. Okay. So technically my junior year or senior year of college. Not to do my own hair.
So actually,
yeah, I didn't even have a senior year.
I was smarter than everyone else.
No, not that. I just took a lot of credits in high school.
Fire.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we differ.
Yeah, that's what we differ. But Don't Overthink kind of just became a thing because I was majoring in psychology, and then mental health became a very big thing for me because I started dealing with anxiety attacks my sophomore year of college pretty badly. It'd be to the point where it's like I literally just could not pull myself off the ground. Like, every single test, every single like going out, like I just kind of just shut down. I went through a very hard situation with some people, and then that kind of was my last straw. Kind of just like, but I thank God for that, because I think that him bringing me out of that was for a reason, and me having to experience that was definitely for a reason. And so Don't Overthink kind of came out of just that frustration of just like feeling like I needed to talk about something. I did do therapy for a little while. I'm a big advocate for therapy because it definitely did help. However, you know, for me, I was like, I just feel that more people need to feel like there's someone out there for them. And so Don't Overthink kind of came from that, just like being able to like talk about my experiences and like how I overcame things and how I'm dealing with certain things, and, you know, just kind of being a voice, I guess, in that way. I did kind of want it to be a little bit more of my platform. You know, as an actor, you kind of, if you got to that point, you develop the ability to have a platform and have your words be heard. So mental health and overthinking, and, you know, like people who have dealt with anxiety or are dealing with anxiety, just kind of continue to like have those conversations. So yeah,
I don't know, I just feel like I like it for, it's like in your face, like, yeah, just don't do that, like just don't overthink.
Just don't overthink. Like, just don't overthink at all.
You're over there thinking about, don't do that. Just do it. Like,
yeah.
It's like I like that though.
Thank you.
What do you usually talk about?
So I think the first 2 episodes where I think I did one about like relationships.
Okay.
I did that one with my friend Maya.
Shout out to Maya.
Shout out to Maya Simi. So I did that one with my friend Maya, and then I did, I think my very first episode. I remember the day that I did it because some stuff went down. So I was like, okay, what I was talking about kind of correlated with what was happening. So I was like, that's weird. But my most recent episode is called Making Moves, and it's basically talking about my experience of like moving to New York, and how I was kind of going through a period when I moved here, like I was kind of in a really rough headspace, and how moving here I was kind of expecting to just like be a whole different person and have just kind of like that shift of like, oh, you're in a new place, you can create whatever person you want to create. But also the fact that like I did work on myself quite a bit in terms of just like my mental health and certain aspects about myself, how I saw myself and things like that before I even came here. And so there were a lot of boundaries, especially when it pertains to like having relationships with people, not just romantic, but like friendships. I think relationships are really hard to navigate sometimes because it's like there are certain aspects of just like, oh, you don't talk to me every day, and understanding like adult relationships and friendships are even harder to navigate because everybody has their own life. So understanding like my mindset, how I worked on myself, and like, having to enact or use those boundaries that I kind of were working on back home here as I'm forming new relationships and having these new experiences and things like that, and kind of how that balance between the two of like becoming this person you want to become, but also like falling back into like your old tendencies and navigating that whole shebang. I couldn't find the right word, but that's the word that came into my mind. But yeah, have you had any like experiences of that, of just like,
which one in particular?
Of just like, you know, I guess like dealing with navigating, you know, adult relationships now, how that differed from like being back? Have you had to like work on creating new boundaries for yourself, et cetera, et cetera?
That's a good question. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like that's not even like a word. Well, it is a word. I think, I'll have to think. Oh wait, don't overthink. Okay, so I think with relationship, I think conversations in general, communication is a very difficult thing to do for many reasons. First of all, when emotions get involved, everything goes out the window and things change significantly. But then it's like, think about what a conversation is. Like, it's not as simple as we deem it to be. Like, when you're a kid, it's just like, hey, what'd you do on the weekend? Oh, I did this. Now it's like, say the conversation gets a little heated, and it's like we're going in the back and forth. So it's like, it's a combination of, I have to listen to you talk, then I have to listen to myself, make sure I'm not kind of undermining what I have to say. Now, while I'm processing that, I have to stay on topic so that we don't get too all over the place. Then, like, so it's like, you have to be compassionate for the other person, but then you have to be compassionate for yourself, because like you don't want to just
you have to, like stick your ground and say what you mean, but you also can't be like, you suck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's like you can't, it's a lot going on at once. A lot of people tend to kind of overlook that, and because it's like no one wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of, or like, oh, like you don't understand me, or you don't get what I'm saying, or you don't listen to me. Right. No one wants to feel that, but sometimes it's like, I think we lack patience with one another. I think we want everything now. We want people to be something now. We want this to be like this now, and it's like, sometimes you need time. Like, and you know, not too much time, because sometimes you can be just in a dead-end situation, but it's like, if someone's putting effort, if they're trying, but they're not seeing it, it's like, help them a little bit. Like, you know, like, a name calling is not going to help. Getting angry and upset is not going to help. It's like, y'all need to just be nice to each other. Like, shit. Like, we don't got much time here. And I feel like those petty arguments, those petty situations, all of that is just nonsense. Like, I have a lot of people in my past that maybe we don't talk in any regard, any relationship. But like, there can be a level of cordial, mutual respect. Not saying we gotta, hey, what's up, best friend every day, but it's like, you know, mutual respect. And you just accept that some relationships just change. Yeah. Just different. Something
that I did mention in my video is like, I think the way you know people are your true friends is if they allow you to grow. in your boundaries and how you communicate, how you want to be communicated to, and like all of these different things. They allow you to grow without judging you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. There's just a balloon. They just let that balloon go. It's just been. It's like it's a red heart in the sky. I don't know why. It just
it caught your attention.
It definitely did. Red is a color that always catches my attention. But boundaries, communication. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Don't overthink.
One of the ways, like, you can know somebody's your real true friend is if they allow you to grow without judging you. Some of my closest friends, we don't talk every day. We don't. We have very, very busy lives. I like to surround myself with people who are go-getters, that are trying to achieve more and do things. And if you want to surround yourself with those type of people can't be your friend on the phone, hey girl, every single day. I mean, you know, in terms of like my girlfriends, like my girly friends, like they're very busy people. Yesterday, one of them texted me, said, oh, hey, I love you, I miss you so much, like, you know, like just checking in, you know, and I haven't talked to them for like at least a month, you know, but it's like there's always still going to be love there. There's always still going to be, you know, that mutual respect of like knowing that like we still love each other, like we're still cool, and you know, we still have a connection with our relationship, but we're not going to be able to talk every day. And if you want to learn how well you communicate, get into a relationship.
Yeah.
get into a romantic relationship, because like you said, when emotions are involved, it's like everything just gets so
all over the place. And you got to find common balance of like bringing it back. It's like we're not against each other here.
Exactly. Like we're not fighting. We're fighting with each other, but not against each other. Or I guess you can say we're fighting for each other, not against each other. I guess kind of like framing that mindset of like, okay, like we're not fighting. We're fighting whatever is going on between us, you know? So learning like how to do like the check-ins of like, hey, I'm about to go do this. I'm not going to be able to talk to you for a while. Or, hey, you know, I'm going to be sleeping in, or da-da-da. You know, it's like little things that you wouldn't necessarily think to do, you have to be more intentional about doing. But I think that also applies to friendships as well. I think like you have to be able to still keep those boundaries and communicate those boundaries, which can be hard.
So when you got into the relationship?
Long distance? Yeah, we started long distance.
So you started long distance?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of. Communication has definitely been something that we have to have very strong and present. So how have you navigated relationships whilst being, you know, in this industry, in this time, etc.? So I'm hitting you with some hard hitters.
Nah, it just it definitely makes me want to overthink.
Don't overthink.
I got you. I guess with how I live, it's definitely not the easiest. When it's like you have to explain, like, yeah, that's always been, I guess, like the biggest one. What is that? What are you doing with that person? What are you doing with that girl? You know, so that could be the difficult part, because it's like if you're not in the world, you're not gonna understand it.
Yeah.
But then also it's like when you live a certain way, you also don't really get the people in the world, like within the art as well. Like,
I don't understand. He's like, everybody's not understanding me. So like, what?
Yeah, it's like, so you feel kind of like, damn, all right, creators not, like people that's not creators not gonna get it. But then give around some creators, I'm like, yo, y'all niggas is weird, bro. Yeah. I'm not gonna, y'all weird, bro. Y'all different.
Yeah.
But anyway, the question you asked, it's not easy. You know, when like say I have to travel somewhere, like I'm great communicating in person and like seeing. I'm not good with like texting and. Like, I'm just not. I'm very terrible with that. Like, I've been trying to improve it, but it just doesn't matter.
Sorry, that's a really pretty sailboat. Keep going.
That is a nice sailboat.
It's like beautiful. Like, look at that. Like what?
And the sunset. Yeah, that's a nice little top.
Sorry, like that's so gorgeous. Okay, cool. Sorry.
What was the question again?
You were saying the question was, how do you navigate relationships being in the industry? And you were talking about how you're not really good at texting, and that you tend to travel, so it's like it's hard being in communication that way, but you're good at communicating in person.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, cool.
I feel like I'm pretty. I like quality time, and I like having a time for everything. So like I'm very like scheduled. When things start to overlap across too much, it
it gets me.
It's a little irritating, even though like I know like that's not the intention, but like I just like I have like a one-track mind, so like that like I feel like I switch my attention a lot randomly. Like right now I can give you my full attention, but like if something catches my eye,
like the balloon.
Yeah, it might shift slightly, but like I'm trying to stay here. But you know, it's a cool balloon. It's red.
Psychologically, men tend to be not in a bad way, but like one-trick ponies. So it's like they can only fixate their mind on like one thing.
One thing at a time. Yeah.
One thing at a time. As women, we can be like, it's like I'm paying attention. Like I'm sorry, but like this is gorgeous. So it's like I'm paying attention to our conversation and paying attention to this, and also thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner, and thinking about the homework I got to do later. But at the same time, I'm still able to be present.
Which is interesting. That's one thing I definitely had to. I think that's true, like in my experiences, because like when I am talking about something, like if I'm talking about something important, I want whoever I'm talking to give me like their full attention. If it's like you opening up about some deep, I'm like, all right, I'll be here. Everything, I'll focus in for a second, like for real. Yeah. But like, I guess I've had to become accustomed to. Some people have different styles of listening or just like being present.
Yeah.
Like I know someone that like they're doing something like. It doesn't have to. They just like
they have
doing
to be doodling.
Stuff.
That's how people like take notes, and I'll be like looking over, and someone's like drawing like a cat on their note. I'm like, what are you doing?
Or like sketching like a basketball or like something. Whatever. But they're listening because they're able to repeat everything I said.
But they just have to be
somewhere else. Yeah, but I'm just big on like look at me, like you know, like I'm big on eye contact. I'm big on like all those things. So like when I don't know.
See, that could be a problem though, because I mean.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Because yeah.
It definitely is. Yeah. But yeah, I've been, meeting more people that kind of there's more compatibility there. Mm-hmm. But that's a big thing for me, is like communication and how you communicate. Because like after a while, all right, I can understand it, but I can understand so much. Like that's annoying.
Yeah.
So genres, as an actress, are you like a drama person? Comedy? You want to be in action movies? Like what's?
Oh yeah. Someone put me in a Marvel movie. It's real quick.
I can see that.
Someone put me in a Marvel movie. I want to be a superhero. Let me drop the boat. No, yeah. Drama, action. Funny enough, like my first short film was doing horror, but I hate horror movies or thrillers or anything that makes me want to like scream or run away. But it's funny because like when you're actually like doing those films, it's like you're not scared. It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like you see the behind the scenes of like how everything gets put together and set up. So it's like it's not actually scary at all. But when you're watching it, you're like, yeah, I have to step out because I can't watch it at all. And there's also like there's certain movies like I know I can't do. Like I have to set a list of like boundaries of things that I'm not willing to do. So like that really limits the types of movies and shows that I will, God willingly, do in the future. That also looks like a pirate ship.
It does.
I was like, why is this just everything is just okay.
What does that say?
I don't know.
Does it say community?
I don't want to say Clapper City, but that's literally that sounds so gross.
You went from relationships to genres to acting. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Then you went from acting, movies you want to be in, to Clapper City. But don't overthink.
Don't overthink. That's why I had to call it that, because my mind is always constantly running. So yeah, I think all of those would be fun. Like I love Johnny Depp, Pirates of the Caribbean. I would love to be a pirate. I would do it. I would totally. Yeah. Like, give me a sword. Give me a sword. But yeah, I just kind of want to be able to have all those fun experiences. That's kind of what I'm more excited about with all of this. But yeah. It
really feels like fall right now.
That's why it's called fall. It's just falling.
Yeah.
On top of everything else that I do.
Okay. My bad.
I'm also a musician.
Oh, okay. So you sing?
Yes.
Okay. Unless like you rap. I mean, I don't know. Like you never know. You might spit a 32 right now.
Stool real quick. No.
You drop this drill song. This Christian drill song. Fighting demons.
No, for real. Which, don't sleep on them. There's a lot of good ones. You have to find them, but there are a lot of good ones. Because I don't listen to rap music anymore. So like I've switched to like listening to like Christian R&B, Christian rap. music, just because what you put into your body does have an effect on you.
Yeah, right.
And so whenever I listen to like rap or like regular R&B, it just feeds a part of myself that doesn't need to be fed. Quite yet anyways, or just in general, just like anxiousness, and also just like what you listen to affects your actions. You know, you hear rappers rapping about smoking drugs and sex and the woes and all of the the barely legal activities they be doing.
Barely legal.
And I think it drives people to want to be like that.
Right.
You know, like you wonder why you do what you do, and then you're like, why do I do this? And what are you listening to? What are you watching? You know, like those are your influences. So start at the root of the problem. But anyways, I digress.
Smoking drugs and barely legal, not illegal.
Not
barely legal.
Barely legal.
Barely
it's only
legal.
illegal if you get caught.
Yeah. Right.
But
I don't want to mess with you. He lived that life on the low. We don't know about that.
It's pre-Jesus.
Oh.
Like I've been writing songs since I was like a baby, not baby, but like 12. I guess that's a baby. I don't know, child. Yeah.
I feel like one of these days I'm gonna be on the news. I'm not gonna know.
It'll be like breaking news. Beautiful Fontaine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, when you start acting crazy, they'll definitely be on the news. Like that one's about to attack that couple. I mean, I don't speak that over them, but
maybe they are. What is that wine?
It just looks
nice.
like that geese, like geese, is like looking at them funny and like creeping up, and it's giving me anxiety.
So you think they're going for the couple?
I look at it. It's staring directly at them.
I mean, maybe they're just admiring the good time. They're sipping wine, chilling, relaxing.
Cute. Maybe it wishes it was human.
They're both in white. They're color coordinated.
Cute.
On point.
So what was it about?
You were talking about
writing music.
The things that your music. Yeah.
So I've been writing songs since I was like a child, and then I wrote this song recently, and I actually got it like made. One of my friends back home is a producer. He helped me out with this track that I did, and I never really got to finish it because I'm a perfectionist, and it was technically done, but I wanted to add 10,000 more things. And my production team is we've been after Bad Match, our next project is actually my music video, which I'm excited about. I don't know, it's like kind of what you were saying is like you kind of just start doing something, and then you just kind of like it, and it just becomes a thing. So music is now technically a thing. That's kind of what I used to cope back in the days. Like I used to write songs and things like that whenever I was feeling those big feelings. But
yeah, I noticed that being a theme with a lot of theater students tend to also sing.
Yeah, you can't be a one-trick pony anymore. If you just act, you're not gonna get.
Not for sure. Like if you just good luck
act,
because
you gotta dance, you gotta sing, you gotta do some.
You gotta do a lot. Yeah, for sure. Like you can no longer just do one thing. That's just in life. Like
yeah. What are some other interests outside of entertainment? Okay,
entertainment.
Acting, directing, all.
I do enjoy long walks on the beach.
This is not your Tinder profile.
Staring at sunsets, reading books. Yes, wow. I cook very often.
It's giving Bachelor.
I'm weak. Yeah. All right, but if I'm not overthinking, I like boxing. I like fighting. Fighting is fun.
Like fighting?
Yeah.
Like professional, like
boxing, kickboxing,
okay.
A little bit of wrestling. We've been getting into wrestling recently. That's been fun.
Okay.
I was never a sports person in school, but I like playing them just because I feel like I'm competitive. No, I'm not. I don't feel like I am. So like,
I feel like I'm.
And the thing is, like, I'm also adaptive. So don't show me something more than once because I'm gonna learn it.
Oh my gosh!
And then,
yeah. My toxic trait is thinking I can do something after seeing it one time.
Yeah. But see, the reason why it's so toxic for me is because I actually end up doing it.
Yeah.
And then like I get competitive. Like I have to like check myself sometimes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we gonna finish this game, this whatever we're doing, and I'm gonna win. Like, but yeah, I love like combat sports and stuff. Do I really like watching it? Not really, but I like doing it. Doing it is fun.
Yeah.
Like there's other things, but like those two things take up a big part of it. Just fighting, running. I go to the gym not because I like it, because it has to get done. And
I think that's why most people go to the gym.
I fucking hate the gym, bro. Like I despise it. It just
I despise
like
the gym.
I do. The only reason I've been doing it more is because like I realize how much is necessary, especially when you're doing combat sports. Because like I feel stronger when I'm wrestling after like, you know, a few months of doing some squats. But yeah,
I played volleyball for 8 years, so I had to lift quite a bit.
Sorry.
Where is it?
That's bothering me. But you were saying?
What's it called? So I played volleyball for 8 years, so yeah, I had to lift quite a bit back in my day. I mean, I still do it now because like I was high school through like freshman year, sophomore year of college. Like that was probably the most fit I've ever been. Because you'd have like 2 to 3 hour practices. Sometimes you'll have 2-a-days, and then in the mornings you have to lift. In the afternoons you might have to lift. And it was like, I like structure and having that schedule because it was just like, it forced me to do it, and then also like take in everything else I had to do. But yeah, forcing me to do it is the only way it will actually get me to do it, because now that I'm out of, I haven't played volleyball in a while and I miss it. Like it's kind of like a bug, but kind of like you said, like I love sports because of it. So like I'm very competitive, but yeah,
I'm a bad loser.
Oh, I'm a terrible loser. Ooh, I'm a terrible loser. But the thing is, I won't give up. Like, I'm not the best dancer. It can be choreographed, and I can hit a little 1-2 step every now and then. But in terms of like professional dancing, that's not my jive. I want it to be so badly, and I want to try. However, it's not. Like last night, I took a dance class. Shorty was going way too fast, and I was getting real frustrated. But I was like, "Okay, you're not gonna give up." It's like you're not gonna give up until you walk out here looking like Sierra. Like that was my mentality. It's a good trait to have, because you know you in life is like, if you don't give up, ultimately like you'll get what you want.
I mean, that's what tends to happen is it's really like a last man woman standing type of game, where like the people that stay consistent with what they really want, even if they don't get that, they get something, you know, like versus like, it's too hard, it's only been half a year, I don't want to do this anymore. But I get it. Now dancing is, I used to like to dance when I was younger. Middle school, I was into like crumping and choreography and all that stuff. And I wanted to break dance, but then I got tall, and then I guess like technically it should
then
work.
Puberty hit. And my limbs were not working the way they were.
Not the same way, you know, because I'm hitting 6 steps and all types of crazy shit. But I get to high school, it's like, we can't do that no more, you know. Past that 6 foot threshold, and it's like you gotta change with your body composition. But what else do you like doing? What other hobbies? You know, you got dancing, you got singing. Well, is singing a hobby, or is that like you trying to do something? I guess it became a thing, right?
It's kind of a thing now, so I want it to become something. We'll see. Okay. We'll see. I was gonna, like, because you were saying how you started music videos, so I was gonna ask you about that. Okay. Because my current director guy, he's busy this weekend, but I just love this weather right now, and I would love to shoot it now that it's like pretty in fall. But anyways. What else do? I like to cook. Okay. Cooking. I like to make good food.
She makes good food, not just food.
Not just food. I make good food. I don't like to read, but I do it because knowledge is power.
Right.
So there's that. I tried to start crocheting. That didn't work out.
What is that?
Knitting.
You're not didn't help at all.
You know the thing with the sticks and then the yarn and then
like the knitting?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said yeah. You know the thing where just this thing. Yeah. Whatever this thing.
You knew what I meant.
I really didn't. I was so confused. Just
So it's like So I tried that. Didn't work out. I really tried hard though. And after like being in New York, I kind of want to get into photography, but I feel like everybody's doing that. Everybody's a photographer.
Everyone's a photographer here.
I don't know. I just stick to my iPhone camera and just like taking pictures of things.
Of your sailboats and the sunsets. Yeah. What's one like negative trait that you think maybe a lot of people, whether in your past or present, have experienced or experienced that you become more aware about?
For myself? Ooh, yes. I'm controlling.
She knew right away.
I'm controlling. I can't even like, not in like a you must do what I want to do at all times type of a way. But I really like things to be a certain way aesthetically. Also, just like in life, and that's another thing too. Like I struggle with God. It was like a lot of you gotta give God control. I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna hold on to this one string just because I think like everything is supposed to go in a certain way. Like when I plan things, like I want them to go exactly how I plan. And if there is, I am really adaptable at certain times, but it is really annoying when things don't go the way that I originally thought they were planned to. But then also just even like when it comes to like doing things creatively, I don't think that my ideas are the best of the best of the best, but I think that they just make the most common sense. I guess in my regard. So it's like some people have ideas and things like that. I don't know. I think I just really like things to be how I want them to be. And I struggle with allowing others to take control. I love being the leader. It is hard, but I do like to take on that role at times, even when I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I think it just does have to do with I just like things to be a certain way. So yeah. What's yours?
I'm stubborn.
Stubborn.
I mean, I relate a lot to what you said about wanting things a specific way because I know the best way and no one else is going to tell me anything else.
Yeah.
You know, you should always listen to Josh. And if you don't be mad when it doesn't work out the way you want it to.
I told you how it was supposed to
go. I told
go.
you what you should.
And the thing is, I'm gonna let you do you.
I don't necessarily like just enforcing my view unless it's asked for. But also there are times where I feel like I have to step in because if something's not getting done, that's what bothers me. Is when things get stagnant. But stubbornness. I'm stubborn in the sense that I'm very specific with what I stand on, what I believe in, what I hold to be important. Which is why I like kind of doing these videos because I feel like they expand my perspective a bit. Even if I don't understand everything, because I'm not going to. There are just going to be some things that I said from whoever I'm with, and I'm just going to be like, yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. But deep down, it's like, all right, let me at least try and get what they're coming from. Trying to accurately see it for what it is. And I've said that before. But, yeah.
Yeah. I think circling back to, like, my school right now. There are people doing things that
you can never.
My mama would. not even just my mama would, just like I just personally just can't wrap my head around. And that's what I mean when I'm just like, actors are really weird people. Because it's like, it's not just, because we have 2 programs. We have we have 3, but film and TV and then the musical theater. And there's just like, I don't know, just like being in this industry just really opens your eyes to like some, like the lengths some people will actually go to, just the things that people do in their day-to-day lives and like how they navigate their lives. Like, and it's not like I'm trying to be judgmental again. Like, I just think that things should be a certain way. And I know that's not always right to you, but to me it is. So it's just like, again, kind of having to like understand, you know, kind of giving that judgment that is me to God and being like, okay, God, like this is their life and like they're gonna live however they want to live, but I have to listen to you and what you have for me. And even that can be hard sometimes. I'm just like, God wants you to go a certain way, and it's like, that does not seem logical in my brain. Yeah, you know, like that, what you want from me does not seem logical, so how do you want me to get this done? And yeah, giving up control is just, it is something that is really hard and something that I'm definitely learning. Like, God will clock me on it and be like, you have to let go of control. You're not meant to be the leader in this situation. You know, because leaders also need to learn how to listen and follow, because you can't lead if you don't know how to follow. Yeah, it's just been a learning process.
And it always is, but I'm very judgmental, so like
I'm a judge.
I am going to judge.
I'm a judge you.
But depending on the extremity of how I do it or how I go about it depends on how much I care about you. So like, if I don't know you, I don't care. Out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But if I do know you, I usually let people try and come to their own conclusions. Because I think that's the best way to learn. Right. But at the same time, it's like, all right, bro, you've been saying too much of this, and like, I don't think you're seeing that, bro. And like, now I'll tell you to your face, but like, that's my way of showing love. I feel like honesty is, don't lie, man. Like, just keep it real, keep it a buck. Who you are, what you're doing. what you're not doing, just be real. Like, I'll be real, but I expect the same thing in return. As much as I feel like I might know this or that, as much as I could get arrogant in what I think I know, I also understand the importance of playing your role. Like, if we're going to use a chess example, I'm not going to always be the king. Sometimes I'm going to be a pawn. Sometimes I'm going to be a rook. Just got to know how to play your role. Sometimes you don't, like, although, like, it's cool to be an advisor in a sense, or, like, maybe nudge someone in a different direction, but it's like, you know, I think sometimes playing your role the best you can will lead to things being overall more successful. Yeah. And I've been trying to definitely take that in and adjust and adapt to that, versus, like, it always got to be my way, because it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. In my life, yeah. If you come to if you
and tell me what to do, yeah.
If you do things in my presence, in my vicinity, in my space, that's different. But if we're in a neutral space, or if I'm in your house, I can either remove myself, or I respect what's going on. Or I can do both.
It's that understanding, and you definitely talked about that too, but it's just like that understanding of like you said, playing your role and like understanding the situation you're in, understanding your environment, knowing that other people's lives don't have to be in complete congruence with your own. And so like letting all that play out. But yeah, definitely agree with that.
Lighting has changed significantly since we've started.
It has.
I guess the final question, you're in college. Do you believe in astrology?
No.
Like, I know it's a big thing now. Good.
I just... go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I know that's like a big thing. I know a lot of Christians that quote-unquote do.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think...
Crystals, rocks, sage, spirituality, looking at the sun.
In terms of spirituality, when somebody says that they're spiritual and they're like, I believe in rocks and stars aligning, and like, again, you believe what you want to believe. But as for me, I believe that there is only one God, and that He's the only person that can heal me and show me, give me direction and give me clarity and all of that jazz. In terms of astrology, do I know my sign? Yes. I'm a Pisces. Do I really know what all that entails? No. I do not know my rising or falling sign. Is it moon sign? Whatever it is. I don't know. That was a big thing in college too, is everyone was like, I think doing like a co-star or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you don't know what time you were born and da-da-da-da-da-da, and like, you know, what phase the moon was in when you were born. I was like, no. Why would I need that information? Not even to be political or anything like that, because again, you believe whatever you want to believe, but you know, the Bible talks about that in terms of like, but people, like you said, like Christians will still believe in it. I think the reasons why some Christians still believe in it is because they struggle with the idea of like who God is, and actually not having something physical to like believe in, or like see, touch, feel,
right?
You know,
or communicate like with. I think that's kind of what it is now. Is like, it's a religion, like at this point, like with the way people kind of follow it.
Yeah, which I mean, like, which I get it, because faith is hard. You know, having faith is hard. You're believing in an almighty, powerful God that is, you know, the creator of the universe and things like that. You know, but for me, it's like I'm looking at this beautiful view, and I'm looking, you know, I'm here and where I'm at, and like my story is like nobody can convince me that there's not a God, and I don't need something physical and tangible to see, hear, or touch for me to believe that. But I think most of the times, I think people are just looking for something to believe in.
No, for sure.
And it can be hard to really wrap your head around God and the aspects, I think, is because of the rules, quote unquote rules around it. But they're not necessarily, the way I think about it is like, they're not rules, they are guidelines to how you should live your life, and you should listen to your own convictions. Because yes, you have the 10 commandments, don't steal, like, but the 10 commandments are basically the rules to like not be a terrible person,
right? You
know, but there are certain convictions that, you know, you only get from having a relationship with Christ, where it's like they're only to protect you. For example, mine in college, like I smoked a little bit of weed, you know, and I thought it was gonna like help me with anxiety and like things like that. Or like, I know a lot of people are like really hooked on nicotine right now, because it helps calms their when in reality it's actually hurting you. And for me, I realized that, like, you know, smoking weed and stuff, like, it wasn't helping my anxiety. It was actually like
making it worse,
you know, because I wasn't relying on God. I was relying on something physical to believe in, which wasn't actually tangible, and it wasn't going to help me the way that I needed to be helped. And in order for me to really realize that, I had to go to the one who created me, because you won't understand. I'll put this in framework here. When a potter makes a pot, right, or like someone creates something, they know how it functions, right? So the same way with us, like God created us, and so he knows how we function, you know? So what I think might be fun and cool and helping me, he might be, that's not how I made you, you know? So that's kind of what happened there, which was like everybody else around me was like having these great experiences while they were smoking and doing all the stuff, and I was like, okay, God, like, why am I feeling this? And he was like, well, this isn't how I made you. Like, you have to be set apart, you have to be called apart, and all these different things. And I think it's the same thing where it's like people are just looking for something to believe in, and they really haven't had that connection to God. I call it the coming to God moment, where it's like, this is when he has revealed himself to you in a way that's like so undeniable. There's like nobody else can take you away from your own faith. And I think a lot of people haven't had that only because they haven't seeked it out, and they'd rather focus on crystals and the stars lighting and all this stuff. You know, like, who created the stars? God. You know, yeah, they're beautiful, and you know, it's cool to like do those little like astrology things. It's like, oh, I'm a Pisces, like, what is, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm emotional and I'm this and I'm that. Da, 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 da. And I know a lot of those things are like generalizations, but it's also fun. It's funny to know because I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Anything that happens, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, I'm emotional. So like, there's certain aspects of my personality that fits into those little boxes.
It was like, okay, that's kind of true.
Yeah.
But
I think it's because people just want to understand life, and we like to put things in boxes and categorize them. You know, that's why, like, for me, it's kind of funny when people are like, oh, you're a Taurus, I cannot be friends with you. You're a Scorpio, oh yeah, you toxic, I'm not going to. Like, you haven't even had a conversation with the person,
right?
You know, I mean, yes, they might be, but like, give them a chance.
Right.
So for me, it's I think people are just really looking for something to believe in and a way to like understand the world, which I can't even fault them for, because I'm still trying to understand the world we live in, and it's hard. And a lot of the times I won't know, and I won't have all the answers. I'm not even one to say what's wrong and what's right, but for me, it's like I will only understand things because I have a relationship with God. And he gives me the discernment, he gives me the wisdom and understanding that I need to understand what I need to understand right now. So, yeah. That was a lot of words.
No.
Sorry.
I hear what you're saying. No, not for sure. I think we live in a lost world. But like, you know, that's kind of always how, like, there's always going to be like people looking, everyone's going to be looking for answers. Yeah. So I get it. And I know a decent amount about, like, I know an okay amount, I guess, about astrology, mainly from women that, you know, told me about myself.
Woman.
But
I told you. What have they said about you?
He said, well, before knowing me, they're like, you're mean and you're vindictive and whatever.
Are you Scorpio?
Here we go, yeah. Here we go. Yeah,
That's
so here we go. Vindictive, oh, you're this, you're that. And then, like, I've heard, oh, but you're really intense. When you look at me, you make me, I'm like, all right, bro, I don't know what's going on. It's interesting, and I like to hear. I feel like I've heard enough to where it's like, all right, I know at least from an astrology background what's kind of accurate, what's not accurate. So when I hear like certain people say things, I'm like, damn, you don't even really know what you believe in, but like you're just saying shit. Like, so it's like, I don't know. But the main reason why I feel like it doesn't appeal to me, like, until like, is that like a submarine? What the fuck is that?
I don't know. There's just a bunch of things that keep floating by.
That's
just like
that's pretty cool. But I feel like it's a lot of those rocks and crystals and whatever the hell else. They're just principleless. Like they don't have like anything to follow or like. I guess.
I mean, I think it's their community too. Like the people who believe in that, like they're their own community. They have their own understanding of like what that means. But
I feel like it's too free though. Like
yeah.
I'm big on like, yeah, expressing yourself, whatever, but I think there's a such thing as too much freedom, and like the things I do like about the Bible is that the guidelines or anything that you're following is set in stone. Like, you know what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, versus like, oh yeah, you're Scorpio and you know, you do this, and then you look at your co-star and like you got this app telling you what you should do every day. I knew a girl that lived by that app. She went based on the co-star. Like that was her God. That's why I say like it's kind of like a religion, because she was like, you know, my co-star told me this morning. I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, so I'm not gonna do. I'm like, oh, bro, like if that's what your co-star said, go listen to your co-star. But I feel like it don't really lead anywhere. I feel like eventually it leads you back to where you started. And I was lost. Yeah, confused. She had to throw that out there. Confused.
A lot of people also like they don't understand like I said, like people think of it as rules. They don't want to be held back by the rules of the Bible or like, you know, the rules of like what it means to be a disciple of Christ or, you know, like follow what the Bible says. They feel held back, and at one point I could understand that, like there's things that I sacrifice in order to, like, you know, to maintain my relationship with Christ, but I feel like that's with any relationship. You'll have sacrifices, you'll have things that you will or won't do based on the relationship. But also like some things that, like for example, I'm waiting until marriage, which is a really big thing, especially in this industry I'm in. Everybody's just horny.
Was this like I'm kidding. Was this like a decision that was made over time, or
this was a decision I grew up in the church, so that's
okay. So you maintain this,
but my mindset around it has shifted, because before it was like, you know, why can't I have sex? Like everybody's, you know, whatever. Not even just like everybody's doing it, but just like for me in general, like I have to have like a really strong connection with you to even want anything with you. But after that connection's established, it's like, okay, well, I feel safe with you. You feel safe with me. Why not? But my mindset around it has changed, because how the church kind of framed sex before marriage to me growing up was like, sex is bad. Don't talk about it. It's taboo. Don't do it until you got a ring on your finger. And so like you stop asking, you know, curious questions about what that is and what all that entails. But now it's like I've kind of done a shift around it, where it's like after having a relationship with Christ and like talking to mentors and like things like that, it's not so much like sex isn't bad. Sex is a beautiful thing. God created sex. So it's like I'm not against it by any means. But in the context of marriage, it's safe. Outside of marriage, it's like because sex is literally marriage. It's two people literally becoming one. Right, yeah. You know, so it's like you don't want to have different marriages with different people and then have parts of yourself be lost to different people. And then on top of that, once you do get married, you might be comparing your spouse to other people that you might have been with, which will cause, you know, a hindrance in your marriage, and you don't want that. So like there's just certain things that, you know, marriage just protects the confines of sex and like what that means. So like that's my mentality about it now. So like I'm able to be like, okay, yeah, I can wait till marriage because I want to protect myself, but also protect the person that I love while we're on that journey, you know. So, and people don't understand that. They're just like, I mean, I'm a Christian, but I have sex because, you know, it's a natural thing. And, you know, everybody wants it, but it's also about self-discipline.
For sure.
You know, you have that temptation and you want to scratch the itch. You want to scratch
these circles, you know, you want to, you know,
scratch the itch. I get it. But again, the Bible tells us we have to die to ourselves and have that understanding of there are sacrifices we have to make, but understanding like once you do get to that point of like you're in marriage or you're doing it in a way that like God is godly and, you know, God deems that it's holy, it's gonna be so much better, you know. But yeah, most people are like, why would you buy a car without test driving it? And I was like,
I mean, well, if it's new and it's from the delership,
yeah, like,
it should work, right?
It should work, like
better than the used Ultima I got on Facebook Marketplace.
Right, exactly. I mean, if you're buying a used car, then yeah, you're probably gonna want to
got some interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, exactly.
Break down on you now.
Might want to look into it a little bit, but if it's fresh off the lot,
right? I mean, come on, what are your chances here?
Right, exactly. But, yeah. This was a good conversation.
It was great.
Lasted.
Yeah. All right.
Fun editing.
Don't overthink.
Yeah. You probably can't see us anymore because blacker than black.
I mean, maybe you can. Let's see.